Greetings everyone, we're Team 5 and we'll be representing Pakistan. I am Dania Mansef and here is the list of my group members. The topics that we'll be covering today are history, geography, demographics, key economics data, and the main standard of living indicators of Pakistan. I would like to begin the presentation by quoting Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who says, "With faith, discipline, and selfless devotion to duty, there is nothing worthwhile that you cannot achieve." Next slide, please. This section presents the history of Pakistan. Here is the map of Pakistan, which is composed of 4 provinces and 1 federal territory. The provinces of Balochistan, Punjab, Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and the federally administered Islamabad Capital Territory. Pakistan is the 33rd largest country by area. Now the key events. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was a barrister, politician, and the founder of Pakistan. He served as the leader of All Indian Muslim League from 1913 till 1947. The history of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan began on 14th August 1947 when the country became an independent nation in the form of Dominion of Pakistan within the British Commonwealth as the result of Pakistan movement and the partition of India. Around 6.5 million Muslims moved from India to West Pakistan and 4.7 million Hindus and Sikhs moved from West Pakistan to India. It was the largest mass migration in human history. A year after independence, Jinnah died of tuberculosis in 1948 at the age of 71. Moving on, a subsequent dispute over the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir eventually sparked the Indo-Pakistani War of 1947 and 1948. Whereas in 1971, East Pakistan breaks away and declares the independent state of Bangladesh after a 9-month-long civil war. Now, moving on again, we look at Benazir Bhutto, who was a Pakistani politician who served as the 11th and 13th Prime Minister of Pakistan from 1988 to 1990s and then from 1993 to 1996. She was the first woman to head a democratic government in a Muslim-majority country. In 1999, Bhutto enters a self-imposed exile, whereas in 2007, she returns from the exile. Also in 2007, Benazir Bhutto was assassinated. Continuing, in 2001, Pakistan cuts ties with Afghanistan's Taliban government after September 11th attack. In return, sanctions are lifted and government of Musharraf is legitimated by United States. December 13, 2001, a suicide bombing at the Indian Parliament kills 14 people, leading to both Pakistan and India mobilizing their militaries and bringing the nations to the brink of war. In 2003, the first formal ceasefire in 14 years is declared in Kashmir. And then in 2001 to 2006, the Pakistani government fights Al-Qaeda while Osama bin Laden hides in the northern regions of the country. In 2006, Musharraf controversially signs a peace treaty with the Taliban, allowing them autonomy in the country in exchange for not fighting with the Pakistani troops. May 1, 2011, Osama bin Laden is killed by the US Special Forces in Abbottabad, Pakistan, without the knowledge of the Pakistani government. And in 2012, the Taliban attempts to murder 14-year-old Malala Yousafzai, who becomes a major advocate for women's rights and education. And finally, in 2013, Nawaz Sharif's Pakistan Muslim League dominates parliamentary elections, making the first time in Pakistan's history that a civilian government served a full 5 years terms and transferred power. Thank you. That's all from me. Now I'd like to pass it on to the next presenter.
Thank you, Dania. Now I would like to continue with my part, which is geography of Pakistan. Pakistan is situated in southern Asia with an area of 881,913 kilometers squared, extending 1,875 kilometers from northeast to southwest, from the range of the Hindu Kush and the Himalaya to the Arabian Sea, and 1,006 kilometers from southeast to northwest. Pakistan is also bordered by 4 countries, which are Iran, Afghanistan, China, and India. And it has a 1,046 kilometer coastline, of which 246 kilometers falling in the Sindh province and 800 kilometers in Balochistan. Pakistan is also divided into 3 major geographic areas, which are the Northern Highlands, the Indus River Plain, and the Balochistan Plateau. The Northern Highlands contain the Karakoram, Hindu Kush, and Pamir mountain range, which contains some of the world's highest peaks, including 5 of the 14 8,000ers, which attract adventurers and mountaineers from all over the world. The Balochistan Plateau is the largest of the 4 provinces at 347,190 kilometers squared of Pakistani territory, which lies in the west and the Thar Desert in the east. The population density is very low due to the mountainous terrain and scarcity of water. The 1,609 kilometers Indus River, and its tributaries flow through the country from the Kashmir region to the Arabian Sea. There is an also expanse of alluvial plains along it in the Punjab and Sindh. Next slide, please. The map above shows Pakistan and surrounding countries with international borders. The national capital, Islamabad, province capital, major cities, main roads, railroads, and major airports. The federal capital is Islamabad. The city is home to the Parliament House, which houses to the National Assembly of Pakistan. There are also about 80 foreign diplomatic missions located in Islamabad. Main port, largest city, and economic hub is placed in Karachi. Karachi was the capital of Pakistan from 1947 to 1959 before being replaced by Rawalpindi and later by Islamabad. And the second city is Lahore, According to the Nation's Online Project 2021, other major Pakistani cities are Faisalabad, Rawalpindi, Multan, and etc. Next slide, please. Transport in Pakistan. In Pakistan, the transport system broadly consists of roads, railways, air transport, ports, and shipping services. There are also a few taxi companies which operate in many of Pakistan's largest cities, especially for traveling from airports to the city centers. The country consists of 62 airports with 12 international airports, 11,181 kilometers of railway track, and 12,131 kilometers of roadways. During the 1990s, Pakistan began an ongoing project to rebuild all the national highways throughout the country, specifically to important financial, cargo, and textile centers. The National Highway Authority, or NHA, is responsible for the maintenance of all national highways in Pakistan. Next slide, please. With 1,046 kilometers of coastline along the Arabian Sea, Pakistan are having several big and small ports in its coastal region. The Gwadar port is one of the deepest seaport in the world and holds great importance because of its strategic location. And the Karachi port is the busiest port of Pakistan, and it is also considered as the economic hub of Pakistan. Next slide, please. So I will continue with the topography. The topography of Pakistan is divided into 7 geographic areas, which are the Northern Highlands, the Indus River Plain, the desert areas, the Potohar Plateau, Balochistan Plateau, South Range, and the Sistan Basin. More than 2/3 of Pakistan is arid or semi-arid. The west is dominated by the Balochistan Plateau, consisting of arid plains and ridges. Rivers, streams, and lakes exist only seasonally. The arid south ends at the rock-marked coast and rises to the east into a series of rock-strewn range. The Quetta, and to the north, extends to the Indus Plains. A semi-watered plateau surrounds Rawalpindi, bounded to the south by the South Range. Next slide, please. The 5 rivers of Pakistan are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Sutlej, and Indus. The Indus River is the most important river in Southern Asia, and it is also shared between 3 countries, which are Pakistan, India, and China. The river runs for about 3,199 kilometers long. This is a list of rivers wholly or partly in Pakistan, organized geographically by river basin from west to east. The longest and the largest river in Pakistan is the Indus River. Around 2/3 of water supplied for irrigation and in homes come from the Indus and its associated rivers. Next slide, please. Not to forget that Pakistan has 4 seasons: a cool, dry winter from December through February, a hot, dry spring from March through May, the summer rainy season or southwest monsoon period from June through September, and the retreating monsoon period of October and November. The onset and duration of this season vary somewhat according to the locations. Pakistan lies in the temperate zone. So basically, the climate is generally arid, characterized by hot summers and cool or cold winters, and wide variations between extremes of temperature at given location. There is also a little rainfall in Pakistan countries. In Pakistan, the highland climate refers to the climate of high altitude areas such as the northern, northwestern, western, and western highlands. Lowland climate includes the climate of the Indus Plain in the Punjab and Sindh. Arid climate refers to the climate of these desert areas, for example, Karan, Kholistan, Thar, as other different parts of Pakistan. Coastal climate refers to the climate of the areas that are located along with the coastal strip running from Rann of Kutch at the Pakistan-India border to Makran Coast at the Pakistan Iran border. The highest temperature ever recorded in Pakistan was 53.7 degrees Celsius, which was recorded in Turbat, Balochistan on 28 May 2017. And the coldest place in Pakistan can be the glacial parts of Gilgit-Baltistan, Gilgit-Baltistan, where in winters the average temperature remains below minus 20 degrees Celsius. I'm sorry for that. So I think that's all for my part. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Now let's talk about the demographic data of Pakistan next. So this is basically the Pakistan population pyramid in recent year 2021. As we can see, the estimated population is now 225,199,929 based on the latest update of United Nations data. The population growth rate of Pakistan in 2020 was 2% only. Now it has increased to 0.3% this year, which is equivalent to 4,307,597 people in Pakistan. So, and then the fertility rate of Pakistan, we can see is per woman of Pakistan is at least having around 4 children. Pakistan is also known as one of the highest birth rate country, which estimates that Pakistan has 22 births per 1,000 people. That is ultimately leading the millions of the population remain as unemployed, lacking of proper health education, healthcare and education. So next slide. So now we look at the density population in Pakistan. So it has been stated that the population, Pakistan population is equivalent to 2.83% of total world population. The total land area of Pakistan is 770,880 square kilometer, and only 287% are living in per square kilometer in Pakistan. In 2020, it has been noticed that only 35.1% of the total population in Pakistan is living in urban area, where the rest of the population people are living in the rural areas. And then the Punjab, the pink color, the red color marked areas are known as the Punjab areas, and they are the most densely populated in Pakistan, which is nearly 535.74 people are living in Pakistan in per square kilometer. On the other hand, the light pink color areas are known as the Balochistan. So they are the most lowest densely populated, and around only 35.55 people living per square kilometer in Balochistan. Next, we come to the age group analysis. So according to this pyramid, we can say between 0 to 14 years, only 34.6% of the total population in Pakistan is 77,919,175 people, or it belongs to this age group. And then between 15 to 34 years age group, only 35.4% of the total population, which is equivalent to 79,720,775 people, belongs to this age group. And then 35 to 64 years age group people consist of only 25.8% of the total population, which is equivalent to 58,101,582 people only. And next, in the age group of 65 and above, only 4.35% of the total population consists, which is equal to 9,796,197 people. Next. And according to the pyramid, here we can see that the total number of male and total number of female. So here, the total male population consists 51.2% of the total population, which is 150,302,363 people are considered as male, and the female portion is only 48.2%, which is equivalent to 109,897,566 people. So here we can see that the male population is much greater than the female population in Pakistan. Next, we come to the ethnic group and also language and also the religion. So here, the major population consists of the Punjabis, which is 44.7%, and then the minority population consists of Pashtuns and Sindhis, which are equally both 15.4% of the population, and Saraikis and Muhajirs has a very little difference between them, and those are 8.4% and 7.6% respectively. And the rest is Balochis is 3.6% and others is 6.3%. Balochis is 3.6% and others are 6.3%. respectively. And the main language is Urdu. It's considered as the national language of Pakistan. And then the Punjabi is almost almost the population speaks also in the Punjabi. It's also a state language of Punjab. And then thirdly, the language is the official language is known as English. And then we come to religion, and we see that around 96.4% of the total population comprised of Muslims, and the rest is 3.6% belongs to other religion. So that's all from me. Thank you, everyone.
Hello everyone, my name is Guo Kehong and my metro number is 201544. So next I will introduce about the key economic data of Pakistan. So at the beginning, let us take a short overview of the trade data of the Pakistan. So the Pakistan's balance of the trade is minus 669 billion Pakistan rupee, and the current account balance is minus 3.4 billion US dollars. And for the external debts is 122 billion US dollars. So based on the chart, we can see that the Pakistan's good trade mainly relies on the import, and the country's trade deficit is relatively large. So based on the current account, we can see that the overdraft of the merchandise trade balance is keeping increase. Okay, so for the key economic data, so Pakistan mainly using the Pakistani rupee as their currency, and the exchange rate of the Pakistan rupee is 1 Malaysian ringgit equals to 42 Pakistan rupee, and 1 US dollar equals to 175 Pakistan rupee. So Pakistan is the 25th largest economy in the world out of 187 countries based on the 2019 PPP of the World Bank data. So refer to the chart at the left, Pakistan has the steady economic growth in recent years, but it has slowed down in 2019 to 2020 due to the impacts of the COVID-19 and other reasons. So for the GDP and GNI per capita, the Pakistan's GDP per capita in 2019 was 4,889 international dollars, and the GNI per capita was 4,790 international dollars. So both the per capita statistics show steady growth from 2010 to 2019. And the growth rate was very flat between 2012 and 2018, but the growth rate was slowed down between 2015 and 2016, but resumed at a steady growth rate after 2016. But in 2018 to 2019, due to the mismanagement by the PTI government and the bad decision in trade, the growing speed has slowed down a lot. So for the average household income level, the average annual household income in Pakistan nearly doubled in total from 2006 to 2019, which reaching an all-time high of 727 US dollar in 2018, but suddenly falling to 587 US dollars in 2019. So compared to the Malaysia's average annual household income in 2019, which is 5,761 US dollars, Pakistan has a lower level of average household income. Okay, so for the Gini part, the Gini is basically an index that measures the differences in people's income, with higher value indicating a greater gap between the rich and poor. So Pakistan's Gini index has averaged 31.42% over the last 20 years, which making it a country with a relatively even distribution of income. And in 2018, the Gini is 31.6%, which is close to the average. Over this period, the Gini index reached its highest in 2005 at 32.7%, and suddenly dropped into 29.8% in 2010. So continue with the Gini. we rank the Gini index from largest to smallest based on the World Factbook by CIA. It shows that the Pakistan ranks 137th out of 174 countries, with smaller gaps between rich and poor than most of the countries. As we consult on the chart, the USA value at the 41.1% at 2016 estimate, and the nearby country, which is India, have a value of 35.7%, and which ranked in 98. So compared to the Malaysia, Pakistan has a lower index in the 2015 forecast, which indicating that Malaysia has more high-income individual than Pakistan. Okay, so that's all for my part. I'll pass to the next presenter. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Dong Wanyi, memo train number is 201378. So today I'm going to talk about the main standard of living indicators of Pakistan. First, let's move on to the percentage of household with access to tap water. So from the data, it shows that people using the tap water has been decreased by 0.5% from 2015 to 2018, and suddenly increased by 0.2% from 2018 to 2020. Next, I'm going to talk about household with access to electricity. So here has two graphics. First one is the detailed data from 2012 to 2019. Second graphic shows the approximately trend from 1998 to 2018. Now let's focus on the second graphic. It shows household with electricity decreased from 1998 to 1999 and rise up from 1999 to 2016. Then suddenly decreased by 1% from 1916 to 1917 and increased by 2.63% from 2017 to 2018 and still rise up by 1% from 2018 to 2019. Okay, next slide, please. Next is percentage of household with access to clean water. It shows about 33% of the whole population of Pakistan has access of safe drinking water. The remaining 67% of population is forced to use unsafe drinking water due to the scarcity of safe and healthy drinking water sources. Okay, next slide, please. Next, let's move on to the number of hospital beds. From the graphic, it shows number of hospital beds has maintained 0.6% from 2013 to 2015 and increased by 0.03% from 2015 to 2016 and keep maintained from 2016 to 2017. Okay, next slide, please. Next, let's talk about the number of doctors. From the graphic, it shows the number of doctors increasing from 2013 to 2017, and the lowest point is 0.88%. The highest point is 1%. Next slide, please. Next, let's talk about the number of nurse and midwives. It shows it's being decreased by 0.041% from 2013 to 2016 and increased by 0.112% from 2016 to 2017. Last but not least, let's move on to the percentage of individual of using the internet. From the graphic, it shows it always been increasing from 2013 to 2017. The lowest point is 9% and the highest point is 13.78%. That's all from our group. Thanks for your listening.